Hi, and welcome to the virtual information session for the Industrial Organizational Psychology Master's Program at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. I'm Dr. Alyssa McGonigal. I'm director of the program, and I'm happy to provide some more information for you. So I'm going to start by giving you some information about industrial organizational or IO psychology in general. Then I will talk about the program a bit. I'll talk about our faculty, and I'll give you some information on how to apply for our program. So what is IO psychology? The Society for Industrial Organizational Psychology, or SIOP, states that IO psychology is a dynamic and growing field that addresses workplace issues at the individual and organizational levels. Industrial organizational psychologists apply research that improves the well-being and performance of people and the organizations that employ them. This involves everything from workforce planning, employee selection, and leader development, to studying job attitudes and job motivation, implementing work teams, improving diversity and inclusion, and facilitating organizational change. So what can you do with an IO master's degree? There are lots of different jobs available to individuals who have a graduate degree in IO psychology. I have listed some of these jobs on this slide. In terms of our own alumni, we could not be more proud of them. They're working with a lot of different companies. Some of the companies that are currently employing our alumni in Charlotte include Bank of America, TIAA, Duke Energy, Spectrum, Ally, and Preskini. So what are some of the benefits of getting a degree in IO psychology? First of all, you can set yourself apart from other business professionals by gaining a scientific perspective on organizational issues. And by scientific, I mean that we apply research methods to understand organizational issues and to recommend evidence-based solutions. Second, we understand and perform analytic techniques to support evidence-based decision-making. Again, we use research and science to implement decisions that are based on evidence. We read, understand, and apply scientific research. So having the ability to read scientific articles on industrial organizational psychology and being able to recommend tailored and evidence-based solutions to an organization can really set you apart in your career from other individuals. And finally, like I mentioned on the last slide, you can work in human resources management, managerial consulting, organizational development, and other related areas. So let's talk a bit about our program. Our program is an evening part-time program offered in our Center City or Dubois Center building to allow students to work full-time if they want to. And most students do work at least part-time, most work full-time while they're in our program. So our goal is to attract working professionals around the Charlotte area to our program, but we also have a mixture of students who have just finished their bachelor's degree from all over the country. By offering our courses on the evening and weekends, it allows students to work full-time, like I said, if they want to. We also have a cohort model for the program. And what that means is if you were accepted to the program and you started, you decided to come and you started the program, you would start with a group of other students and you would move through all of your courses in the program in a series together. So you would start and take one course and then you would all take the next course together and so forth and so on. So because of that cohort model, it is basically a 2-year commitment. So what that means is the courses are offered when they're offered, and they won't be offered again until the next cohort starts. So we really can't miss a course. So we ask that students do plan to go through the program during the 2 years in sequential order. In addition to that cohort model, it's important to note that we accept students only every other year. So we don't currently accept students every year like some programs do. We accept students every other year, and you go through the entire program together. In terms of a time commitment, the program takes 2 years to complete. It is technically a part-time program because you're only taking 2 courses per semester. But even given that, it will only take you 2 years to complete. You do take some courses over the summer between year 1 and year 2, like I will explain in just a moment. In terms of the class size, we keep our classes to approximately 15 students. We aim to admit 15 students approximately to our cohorts. We have gotten a lot of pressure over time to increase our cohort size, but we have found that by having a relatively small cohort, that really facilitates having a better and more positive cohort culture, and it allows students to have more one-on-one time with faculty. And so we really like keeping our class sizes to be relatively small. Students in the program tend to be applied focused. So what that means is they're looking to take information from research and apply it to help organizations solve problems. And you can kind of contrast that with a researcher or an academic who likes to generate new research. So, as opposed to that, we tend to be more applied. We provide students with the knowledge and skills necessary to improve the world of work from both an employee and an organizational point of view. Some of our areas of focus include leadership, culture and climate in organizations, organizational change and development, talent acquisition and talent management, and people analytics. So let's go through a sample curriculum and schedule. So for year 1, in the fall, students would typically take an introduction to industrial organizational psychology alongside an organizational research methods course. In the spring, they would typically take a quantitative research methods, in other words, statistics course, alongside either a talent acquisition course or a talent management course, depending on faculty availability. Over the summer, students would also be taking 2 courses. And I should note that our courses over the summer are slightly different format. So some of them are offered on week evenings like the other ones, but some of them are also offered on weekends, depending on the course. And so examples of courses that you might take over the summer include organizational development and change, and a topics course such as leader development. In year 2, sample curriculum would include, for instance, job attitudes and measurement in organizations in the fall, talent acquisition or talent management, whichever one was not taught in year 1, in the spring of year 2, and then a topic seminar such as occupational health psychology, which I teach in the spring of your 2nd year. And then the summer of your 2nd year is spent studying and taking your comprehensive exam. So you are all done your coursework by the spring of your 2nd year, and then you're taking your comprehensive exam in that summer of your 2nd year. And that is when you finish the program. All right, so a common question from students is, how much does the program cost? And costs change frequently, so I always recommend that students check the UNC Charlotte website for the most up-to-date information on costs. The link is included below on this slide. You can also just Google UNC Charlotte graduate tuition costs and it'll come up. A couple things to keep in mind. So first is that ours is a self-paid program, or if your organization gives tuition reimbursement, you can get that through your organization. We don't have assistantships or other opportunities for funding available like some other programs do. We have found that most students work full-time while they're enrolled in our program, and they do earn much more than they would in an assistantship by working at their jobs, and they're also gaining valuable experience at the same time. So it's really better for our students to be working full-time in their roles and organizations as opposed to being in an assistantship anyway, but that is important for you to remember. If you are a non-North Carolina resident, the costs will be higher, and you can Google how to establish North Carolina residency so that you can get the lower cost for tuition. Each semester, you will enroll in 6 credit hours, so that's important when you look at the website to determine how much tuition will cost. Another thing to keep in mind that there is what's called a program increment. So you want to see the page online, and I'll show you what I mean in just a moment, which tells you how much per credit hour to add on top of the typical tuition for this particular program. And the final thing to note is that parking costs are not included in the online costs that you will see. However, there is a light rail stop very close by that students often use. And there's more information about parking that you can find online as well. All right, so if you do the Google search or you go to the website that is in the link on the previous slide, this is an example of what you might find. So this is something that was posted during the summer of 2024. But again, check it because this does change periodically. So if I look at graduate tuition, this is actually for the main campus, but this gives you an idea of what it might cost. So you want to consider all the fees together. So for 6 credits for a North Carolina resident, that would be $27.71. For a non-North Carolina resident, it would be $77.82.84. And then the increment that I mentioned is down here where it says College of Humanities and Earth Sciences, the Master's Program of Industrial Organizational Psychology. You add an additional $133.33 per credit hour for tuition only. All right, so who are our faculty? So that first picture is me. I am Dr. Alyssa McGonigal, like I said earlier. My research focuses on worker health, worker safety, worker well-being, and worker inclusion. And I have taught various courses in this program, including job attitudes, research methods, and statistics. And importantly, I forgot to mention on the slide, I do teach occupational health psychology as well. Dr. Anita Blanchard focuses on her research on sense of belonging and community among people in online groups. She has taught job attitudes as well, also introduction to IO psychology and talent management for the program. And Dr. Blanchard also teaches a study abroad elective on leadership. Dr. Meg Davenport focuses her research on workplace aging, motivation, workplace learning, training, and job searching. She's taught introduction to IO psychology and talent management for the program. All right, so let's hear what some of our alumni say, or look at what some of our alumni say about the program. I'll just give you a moment to read some of this information, but this is from some relatively recent graduates of our program who had some good things to say about it, in terms of the cohort model, in terms of the analytical skills that are gained, in terms of the professors, and in terms of just the overall experience in the program. All right, so let's wrap up by talking about applying to our program. The deadline for applying is February 15th. Like I said earlier, we only accept applications every other year to start the program. So that means that we only accept applications in even years. So when the year is an even number, such as 2026, 2028, or 2030, those are the years that we are accepting applications. This is important because it's, like I said, different from other programs, so it kind of throws people off sometimes. Do not apply for the program in 2025, 2027, or 2029 because we are not accepting students on those years, so it'll just be a waste of your time. Details about applying online are available on our website under the application process tab. There is some detailed information there, so be sure to check it out. One thing to note is that we are not currently requiring standardized test scores such as GREs. Also, I want to make sure that you pay careful attention to our personal statement instructions. So we have 3 essay prompts for you to respond to that are somewhat different from other programs. So we're not looking for your typical personal statement. We're looking for answers to 3 specific questions. So make sure you pay attention to that. You can also find information about applying on the UNC Charlotte Graduate School's website, and that web link is right there on the slide as well. All right, so that's it. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for listening to this video. And if you have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. My email address is amcgonag@charlotte.edu, and I will look forward to hearing from you.